everyone, it's Lisa here, and I am coming to you today for the Art Party Friday on the Crafty Maven channel. So I wanted to just kind of have a couple brief little notes for you guys before we get started. So first of all, I wanted to say thank you, Hannah, for starting up this channel, because I think it's going to be lots of fun, and I cannot wait to see what everybody does on this channel. I think it's going to be, it was definitely needed, and I'm really excited about where it's going to go. So second of all, in with the art journaling theme, if you've never done art journaling before and you kind of feel a little overwhelmed and you're not sure where to start, I do have about 7 videos for you on product recommendations, just kind of stuff that you can use to get started. So I'm going to leave those below, so make sure you check that out, and that's going to be a video for all you new beginners out there who want to get into it. The other thing I wanted to say is, because art journaling is a medium where it's really hard to replicate. So if I'm showing you something and you feel like you're not getting the same results, don't worry about it. It's a really hard thing to replicate, but I want you to enjoy the process and just kind of involve yourself into it and just really experiment with art journaling. It's one of those things where if you know it doesn't go the way you plan, turn the page and start over, or just go over it and start again. So the other thing I wanted to say is, if you are like, you know what, Lisa, I'm not into art journaling at all, I still would like for you to watch all of the art journals videos that you can, or even on this channel, because I feel like you could get a lot of inspiration just based on color ideas, or if you're looking into getting into mixed media onto your scrapbooking pages, it's gonna kind of show you some techniques and you know, color combinations that you can get to kind of incorporate into your scrapbooking pages, and so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to show you today this week's inspiration piece, and it's this piece right here, which is all these little cars in this kind of like rainbow-esque circle-ish pattern. So let's see what we can do. Let's head down to the craft room and see what we can do. See you in a bit. All right, everyone, so I'm starting off in my bigger art journal, and it's about 11 by 14 inches. So it's quite big. I do like working in the bigger size sometimes, not all the time. But that's the book I'm working in today. So what I did is I took actually printed out 4 of the inspiration images, and I glued them down using some fluid matte medium. And I don't know, there was just something about the picture. I was like, you know what, I could totally use this as a background for an art journal page. So it's just to create some noise, and I wasn't really sure what to do, and I thought this was a kind of a good starter point. So that's another kind of thing that you can look at, is look at an inspiration image, print out things from the internet, and use them as a background in your art journaling pages. So then the next thing I did is I just took some black paint, and I'm just gonna fill in all the white spaces for my art journal page, and then that's just gonna kind of make everything feel like it flows together. So that's all I did, just plain old black paint. Now this is a Dye Illusions stencil. Now it's the girl stencils, and I don't remember which one. I think it's Flossie, and you get the negative image as well as the positive image. So what I did is I can never remember if this is the positive or the negative part, but anyway, I took that inner piece of the stencil and I went around with it, first of all with some gesso, and then I went around with it with some green Dye Illusions paint and then some yellow Dye Illusions paint. And I wanted to kind of have those images kind of like, actually this layout totally didn't go the way I wanted it to. I was going to have like that image of those cars and that pattern in the background, and I was going to have those girls pop out with all the color, but it just didn't go the way I wanted it to. So sometimes when it comes to art journaling, you just have to let the page take you by the hand and lead you, and I like how this page turned out. And I am a little rusty because I haven't done an art journal page in a long time, so you have to bear with me here. So after I did that to 3 of the stencils, because there's 3 different sizes, I went with the outline of the stencil, and I went with a really, really thick layer of modeling paste, and I went really thick and then just lifted it off. And I'm telling you, when that moment when something happens to your art journal page, it's just magic. And then it's like the whole page starts to come alive. You're like, yes, this is where I need to take it. So after or before this whole moment, there was not really a connection, and as soon as that modeling paste came through, there was a connection to the page. So I just really love it. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking the Stabilo pencil and I'm using it to create some patterns in the girl's layout. Now actually what I did is I actually kind of looked at the lines that were already there in the modeling paste. Now you can see what happened is when I left that modeling paste to dry overnight, there was like this magical thing that happened with the modeling paste, and it kind of had like these pinky tones to it because that modeling paste absorbed any of the ink from that background image, and it just kind of like made this really cool pattern and texture to those girls. So I'm just going with it, you know, just run with that. So then I'm taking some of the blue, I think this is the Vibrant Turquoise Dilutions paint, and I'm mixing it in with some gesso, and I'm just kind of adding like another extra hue, tone to like the image of these girls, like to this background. And it's just going to create a little bit more depth. It's kind of looking a little flat at this moment, so I kind of like that. And then what I did is I took a baby wipe and I just kind of blotted off some of the paint just to kind of make it flow. Now I fast forwarded this part quite a bit. I am doing coloring in right over top of the modeling paste. So I'm using those same Dilutions paints. I pulled out the blue and the purple. I have the pink at hand, as well as some other colors. Now, magical thing with I like the magical word obviously today, but the beautiful thing with the Stabilo black pencil, it's water soluble. So, and when I'm adding my paint over top of that Stabilo pencil, it's creating that shadow right immediately for me. I don't really have to work really hard to create that shadow. So that's another fun thing that you can try and use, is try and mix water soluble in with paint, and you might create this really fun depth to your paint. So I'm just again doing the same thing with the purple to that one dress. You'll see I added in some white to create some highlights on her arm as well as on her skirt, just to create some movement to the piece rather than it being very flat. You can see I did the same thing with the blue dress, as well as I'm doing this other girl right now with the pink and purple, just reverse of the girl on the right hand side of the page, just to kind of balance everything off. Now I'm taking some of the leftover paint that's on my palette, the pink and the purple and the white, and I'm just mixing it and flowing it up. And then all of a sudden I went, you know what, it looks like one of those paint parties like they used to have in the 90s, I think it was, and they had like neon paint with the black lights, and it just looked like a dance party. And then that background with the cars looked like those, you know, retro lights that they used to have at dances and stuff like that. So at least that's what it reminded me of. And so I took some neon neon orange high flow golden acrylic paint, and I just dripped it up, and it just created this beautiful thing. But there wasn't enough depth in between those two girls, so I just add a little bit more blue paint, and then I'm going to do that neon orange again, and you can just see that beautiful kind of like really flow up like with the bright orange paint. And then I'm taking the fine liner and I'm mixing some airbrush medium with some white paint, and I'm writing out the quote that says, let me just see what it says here. It says, "Life might not be the party we hope for, but while we're here, we should dance." So I really like that whole saying, because that is kind of how I feel with this art journal page. It didn't really go the way I wanted to, but while I'm here, I might as well just get in and play. So I hope you enjoyed this layout. Don't forget to check out all the links for where you can find the Crafty Maven Getaway. and my channel is listed below as well, and we will see you guys next time. Bye!